Hey everybody, welcome. It's Jessie Mundell here. We are going to be chatting about 4 strategies for prolapse in fitness coaching. And when I say prolapse, I'm talking about pelvic organ prolapse, which is something that we need to know about if we are pregnant, postpartum, as early or late as you might be. And if you are working with moms in fitness, you absolutely must know about pelvic organ prolapse. So if you're new here, my name is Jessie Mundell. I am a prenatal and postnatal exercise specialist. I work with moms all over the world who are at all stages, pregnancy and postpartum, and many who are treating and managing pelvic organ prolapse. So I wish that I had brought my model pelvis with me on vacation, but I did not. So what we need to know first about pelvic organ prolapse is that it is common postpartum. So some of the research and statistics say that 50% of people who have had a baby will have some degree of pelvic organ prolapse. What is pelvic organ prolapse? The Coles Notes version is that it is when one of the organs in the pelvis, one of our pelvic organs or multiple pelvic organs start to slump, slide, lose their position in the pelvic bowl or basin. So just for an example, say the uterus is used to, it's best functioning position is right here. Say after birth, it is now perhaps sitting a little bit lower. There are varying degrees of pelvic organ prolapse. Typically, it's graded on a 0 to 4 scale. And what those degrees mean is that it is at different positions. So a 0, would that be there's no pelvic organ prolapse. There's no descent of that pelvic organ. 1, slightly lowering, 2, a little bit more, 3, a little bit more, and 4, it would be bulging out of the vaginal opening, for example, in the case of the bladder, the uterus, and the rectum. So for our purpose of this conversation, when we talk about pelvic organ prolapse, the organs that we are most interested in, most concerned about, are going to be those 3: bladder, uterus, rectum. And we are going to typically be talking about those grades as how close are they getting or how much are they coming out of the vaginal opening. Hey, Marla. Yeah, awesome to see you here too. Same time zone right now. You're right. So this is the topic for today. We're going to be talking about pelvic organ prolapse. Again, I wish I had my model pelvis here so I could show you these organs and what is actually happening, but Google away, my friends. It's important to see these images and to really truly understand, especially if you are working with moms in fitness. You have to know about pelvic organ prolapse because you are working with people with pelvic organ prolapse. I was saying this in my email this morning, if you may have received it, is that I was having a conversation with a fitness professional whom I love, and she was saying, you know what, I'm starting to get more moms coming to me who are telling me, and we're talking about their prolapse journey. They're finding out they have prolapse. They went to be assessed by a pelvic floor physio. They are learning that they have prolapse, and they are coming to me and wanting to know how they can continue to work out appropriately with prolapse, not worsen their symptoms, and also to help manage and control their symptoms in exercise and in their daily life. And what I was saying to her is that she was always training people with prolapse. Always. She's been working with prenatal and postnatal populations for years and years, and she's so good at what she does. But she's now being trusted with that story, which I think is a beautiful thing and a huge sign of trust. So we know that she has always been training people with prolapse, and even more so now, she's going to be getting more information from people on their prolapse journey. So it's so key that we have this information and that we're armed with this education so we can best help people and just reduce any damage that we might be doing if we did not know otherwise. So 4 strategies today on how I think about training, coaching moms with prolapse in the work that I do in strength training exercise primarily. Absolutely, my clients are doing other forms of exercise, but the strength training exercise is making up the bulk of what people are doing. If you're on live, say hi. Let me know that you are here. Let me know if you have any questions as we go through on Prolapse and what is coming up for you, if anything is. Strategy number 1, vary the body position, the exercise position in each individual workout. So I think there is some misconception that if you have pelvic organ prolapse, you just need to do exercises lying on the floor, that you just need to be lying on your back or lying on your side or lying on your stomach in your workouts. Not the case whatsoever. Perhaps some days that might be a necessity, that you are doing exercises lying down if you are symptomatic. But for the most part, that's not what I'm seeing with my clients. What I am seeing with my clients is that varying the body position, up, down, kneeling, helps so much. When we do sessions that involve standing exercises, seated exercises, tall kneeling or half kneeling exercises, exercises that are side lying or supine lying on the back, a workout that involves moving the body in lots of different positions rather than just seated or just standing or just lying down, the varying degree of body positions seems to feel best on their bodies. So that is my tip. If you are working out with prolapse, if you are a coach or a trainer working with people with prolapse, vary the body position. It's going to be different for everyone. Absolutely. All different bodies with prolapse, it's going to be different with how they respond to the sessions, and absolutely gauge it by how they are doing specifically. But I think it's a really safe place to start to vary the body position and take notes from there. Okay. Number 2. Breathing strategies to use with prolapse in lifting loaded exercise. 2 different breathing techniques that I would tend to use most often. I would cue to exhale on exertion or to exhale through exertion. So exhaling on exertion, for example, we are going to deadlift. We are going to pick up a kettlebell from the floor, sumo style deadlift, let's say. So we're going to set up, standing up tall. I'm going to inhale to go down to the bottom. I'm going to grab onto the bell. I'm going to set my body. I'm going to engage through the lats. I'm going to drive my feet down into the floor. I'm going to start my exhale breath and stand all the way to the top, exhaling through the hard part of the exercise. Inhale to return back down. So exhale on exertion is exhaling through the hard part of the rep of the exercise. Make sense? Exhaling through exertion would be exhaling through the whole rep. So an example that I like to give with this can be push-ups. So push-ups for me are super hard exercise, the whole thing, the down and the up. So especially as I was starting back to these earlier postpartum, I would exhale all the way down and all the way up. At the top, when you get that moment of rest, inhale, and then start to exhale as we're going down and as we're coming up. So these breathing strategies are used to best support the entire body and also best support the core, meaning the trunk, the abdominals, the back, and to support the pelvic floor too. So we just have to see what is feeling best with that particular exercise, the load, how much weight might be on or resistance might be on that exercise, and then how the client's body is responding to that too. So exhaling on exertion, meaning the tough part of that rep, or exhaling through exertion, meaning the whole rep, or whatever it might be, gets the exhale breath, and you're inhaling on the rest portion of the exercise. All right. Number 3, of course, I had to write them down. Number 3. Okay. I like this one a lot. Use rest-based exercises at the end of a session to reset. Put some relaxation breathing strategies, supported exercise positions, supported body positions in at the end of a session. Particularly a session that might have been more difficult, might have incorporated a couple new exercises. You took the weight up on some exercises. Let's get some chilled out breathing happening at the end of that exercise session. A few different ways that I like to do this: a wide child's pose with the arms stretched out in front or side to side, can be all three, or a position where you're lying flat on the back, knees bent at a 90 degree and calves resting on a bench so they can be very supported. It doesn't feel super stretchy. It's not like they feel like they need to move out of the position. This is a position that they want to be in and they want to stay in. Use supported positions like this to do some really relaxed breathing at the end of the session. We're focusing on feeling some release, feeling some movement happening through the pelvic floor, but not actively lifting or tightening or contracting the pelvic floor. Just focus on softening and chilling out through the whole body and the pelvic floor at the end of a session. You could do this at any point during the session. If a client is starting to feel symptomatic, just get them into a supported position, breathe, chill out, set the timer for 5 minutes, and just relax through it. Last one, fourth strategy. This is the most key in anything that we talk about. Trainers, coaches, make your client feel successful and confident in the workout session, in the exercise that they're doing, in the loads that they are lifting. Don't be super coachy, to be honest with you. Don't pick apart their technique. Allow them to feel successful. Give them a couple of cues, but mostly allow them to do their thing if they are feeling good. If they are not feeling symptomatic, don't pick apart the exercise. Don't throw 1 million cues at them. Do not make their brain work super hard at first, especially when they're getting back into strength training, when they have found out they've been diagnosed with prolapse. Make them feel successful and confident in whatever you are doing. The psychological aspect of prolapse and pelvic floor health is huge. It absolutely is going to affect how they feel physically in their body in terms of their mental and emotional health. So during exercise in their daily life, empower them with confidence. They can do this. They can lift this weight. They're going to be okay. They can safely do this. They are strong enough to do this. Teach them the breathing strategies, alignment strategies that might work best for their body. But remove the doubt. We want to be aware. We want to be somewhat cautious in some things. But again, empower them with confidence and just as best that you can. Keep repeating that you can do this. Your form looks great. Perfect. Those reps were beautiful. Whatever you can do to make them feel confident in their body, that's what I would encourage you to do. Megan says, yes, it is huge. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, for me, I don't have any degrees of pelvic organ prolapse, but I am a person who is prone to pelvic floor hypertension, and it always flares up when I am under a period of higher stress, when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm underslept. That's when my pelvic health symptoms ramp up. It is just, we have this intimate connection with all aspects of our health and our body. So just be very aware with this with prolapse mamas. I think that's it. Any questions at all? So 4 strategies for using in fitness coaching with moms who have pelvic organ prolapse. This could be during pregnancy, postpartum. You're often probably going to be having these conversations with postpartum mamas, especially if they are first-time moms. All right, friends, I think that's everything. Let me know if you have more questions on this, and I will be back later in the week for another session.